All right. Well, this is going to be episode 0 of the Rusty Collins comic book recap and review. This is where I'm going to bring to you my love of comic books on a weekly basis. Figured I'd explain kind of a rough idea of what I've got going here for this program. I'm going to do a who, what, when, where, why, explaining what I am going to bring to you. So, who? Who am I? I am Rusty Collins. That's not my real name, but that is the name that we're going to go by for the sake of the purposes of this. Why Rusty Collins? Well, as you see, I have a huge collection of comic books. But I don't know that much, honest to God. There's a lot of things I don't know. My comic book knowledge is very rusty. There's huge gaps in what I have, what I'm missing, what I don't know. Things I've never read, things I've never heard of. So I'm not going to stand here and try to tell you that I'm the best comic book person you've ever seen. I'm going to tell you what I know. Collins comes from the town I live in. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. Rusty Collins. That's how we're getting here today. Now, there's a handful of you out there thinking to yourself, that name's really familiar. Where do I know that name from? Well, you're right. That is a comic book character. Rusty Collins happened to be from about the 80s, mid 80s, late 90s. Never really did anything. Never was very popular. Did like pyrokinetics. It wasn't that cool. But the fact is, he's an actual comic book character. So it kind of ties into what I'm doing here, telling you about comic books. Now, that's the who. The what. What am I going to provide to you? Why should you tune in and listen to me? I'm going to bring to you every single Wednesday, starting this Wednesday, coming up, January the whatever, beginning of 2018. I will bring to you comic books I bought at my local comic book shop that day. It'll be a little 3-5 minute video, me showing you literally physically in my hand, I have this, you should pay attention to this is coming out, here's the things I'm most excited for. Real quick, sweet, short to the point. Now, the next thing I'm going to bring to you is going to be 9 days later, a review of those comic books, an actual breakdown, not super hardcore panel by panel, but I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you some of the key events. I'm going to call out the things I enjoyed. This is hopefully going to be a very positive thing to do. I don't want to just sit here and gripe and cry about how I hate things. That's not fun for anybody. I want to show you what's awesome. I want to tell you why I loved them. I want to tell you why they're cool. I want to tell you what's going on to keep you guys up informed, because I know not everybody can afford comic books. Not everybody has a life that has accommodated to it. Not everybody has a local comic book shop they can go to get comic books. So I'm going to help bridge that gap. I'm going to bring a positive perspective to what's going on. When is this going to happen? Like I said, every Wednesday I'm going to bring you my pull list. That's going to be right out in the open. 9 days later. I know it seems like a long time and kind of a weird number. I'm human. I have a job. I have kids. I have a life. I work overnights. I don't know if any of you have worked overnights. It's rough. I don't have time to get this done lickety-split. There's filming, there's editing, there's making this an awesome production for you guys to enjoy. That's going to take some time. I also don't want to go pissing anybody's Wheaties. I don't want to upset people with spoilers. Let's say you do buy comic books, but not a whole lot. You only get to buy a couple a week. And you want to read those and savor them and enjoy them. I'm not trying to ruin that for you. You do that. You enjoy what you're doing. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. So I'm going to give you plenty of time, ample time, to read through yours, maybe go pick stuff up, whatever. 9 days later. So Saturday, the next week, I will actually break it down and show you what's going on. That's the day that I will review. So Wednesday, here's what I buy. 9 days later, you're going to get the product. You're going to get to see what it is all about. So, every week. A little weird because you'll have the Friday, Wednesday, see what's coming up. 2 days later will be the stuff from last week. But it'll all hash out. You'll get the pattern. It's not that bad. So, where are you going to find this? You're going to find it right here on YouTube. Brand new, just starting out, never done anything like this before. Dreams. Someday I might be able to get a Patreon exclusive content. Who knows where this could go? I'm hoping for the best, but right now, it's just going to be here on YouTube. Now, why? Why is a big, big answer. This is my favorite answer out of all of these that I've given you so far. The most important one's probably what I'm bringing. This one's awesome too. Why I'm doing this. Comic books are amazing. I grew up with comic books. My first memories in a lot of ways are going to my dad's house on the weekends, and I'd go in the bathroom, and on his toilet there'd be a stack of comic books, and I wasn't allowed to touch them. Oh man, don't touch them. But I could look at them and I see those covers, and I knew as a little kid, all I wanted to do was just read that dang collection. That collection is mostly what you see behind me right now. I have got this and a couple of these. That's what I've bought. All of this. And it goes up higher. The camera doesn't even show. It goes all the way to my ceiling. It was given to me by my father. These are comic books that start in 1972 and go all the way to 1994. It's a huge collection. I've read a quarter of it. It's insane. This was supposed to be what my dad retired on. He realized the industry didn't do what he thought it was going to do because, Silver Sable #1, you can't even sell it right now, let alone sell it to retire. So I broke him down over years and told him to give it to me. Instead of having him sit on it and just do nothing, I wanted to enjoy it and share it with people, my kids, my family, myself. So it was given to me by my dad. I did not buy 3,500 of the over 4,000 comic books behind me. Disclaimer, I didn't pay for that. That was from my father. So I grew up with this love of comic books. Now what's behind me is mostly Marvel. Again, disclaimer, my dad loved Marvel. I grew up with a real big prejudice against DC. I didn't like them for a very, very long time. My wife, on the other hand, helped me get over this prejudice, and as of this day, I don't care. If you're a comic book, you're alright. I don't have a prejudice. I'm honest to God, one of those people in the middle right now. I love all comic book companies. There isn't really anybody I don't want to see product from. I really enjoy everything about it. Now, I don't read a lot of independent comics, but that's okay. I don't have a problem with them, and I'm not going to knock on them. I read mostly DC because they're doing the better stuff right now, but Marvel is my heart. So you're going to see, honest to God, a lot of DC, a very high portion of Marvel, and the occasional indie book. And that's where things are right now. Another reason why. Comic books are huge. I know the movies are doing really good. And I know the movies are great and amazing. But I think we're forgetting where we've come from as a nerd culture in the book aspect. I preach a lot to my kids that reading is awesome. Reading is a bridge into another world. It is a step above. And it doesn't have to be a novel. It just has to be actual reading, using your brain to interpret what you're seeing. Comic books do that. Comic books do an amazing job of that. Especially when you can use that art to complement the story. It really does. It counts as literature, I'm sorry. That's where I'm coming from. The last reason on why, and specifically why on YouTube, I understand there's a huge group of people who seem to think that the comic book industry is broken, dying, poisoned, bad. Again, I don't want to be negative. I don't share that opinion at all. If that's how you feel, that's fine. That's not the case, though. The comic book industry is doing very well. We're never going to see where we were in the 90s with the Jim Lee and the X-Men, and we're never going to see the numbers that we saw in the past. That's just not how things work anymore. Digital has changed the game. Trades have changed the game. But the game is still being played. Comic books are still relevant. Comic books are still amazing, and there's still good work being published. So I'm going to bring you what I feel, in my opinion, is some of the best stuff. Down the road, depending on where this goes, I might be able to bring you more. Some of the things maybe you guys want to see, some of the stuff you guys want to hear about. But for right now, we're going to start with what I can afford. How do I afford this? I don't have a very good job. I'm not going to lie. I donate plasma. Literally get stuck with the needle, bleed for a while, get money. A little selfish, but it works. This is how I pay for my comic books. That's how I have my budget. That's how I know how much money I can afford to throw into this. I throw a little over $200 a month at this. I bring about 50 to 60 comic books home. That's what you're going to see. 50 to 60 issues a month of all kinds of cool stuff. Anything that I decide to pick up, I'm going to show to you. So, that's the who, what, when, where, why. A little bit about me, a little bit about the show. This is coming out on January 1st, 2018. That Wednesday, a couple days later, I will bring you my first pull list. 9 days after that, you will see the first actual production of what I plan to be a long-standing show, and you guys enjoy the crud out of it. So, thank you very much, and again, my name is Rusty Collins, and I hope to see you every time from here on out. Thank you much, guys.